Late in the summer of 2004, a team of archaeologists in Northern Ontario discovered canisters of film containing the most important footage in Canadian TV history. The long-lost episodes of Jimmy MacDonald's Canada. For a brief period in the mid-60s, Jimmy MacDonald was the most popular TV star in the country. 10 million Canadians would tune in each week. Then, disaster. After a major on-air meltdown, MacDonald succumbed to paranoia and mass delusion. He renounced television, the medium that had given him so much, so quickly. He decided to move to the Northwest Territories. Flying north, he took every episode of the show with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't trained as a pilot. The plane crashed and MacDonald was presumed dead. A somber Prime Minister Pearson addressed the nation.
There are millions of people tonight who, throughout the world, will feel that they have lost a friend.
MacDonald's body was never found. His hit show was thought to be lost forever.
Of course, I was around when Jimmy MacDonald was on the air, and he taught me a lot.
Although we didn't like to use words like star, but Jimmy MacDonald was really a star. He was always extremely kind to me and to the Friendly Giant and to Mr. Dress-Up.
Jimmy MacDonald was very image conscious. That's why he was so iconic, because he understood the power of the image.
Jimmy MacDonald, I remember the little mustache across here. He was a hero. He was almost as popular as me.
And now, for the first time in 40 years, CBC presents Jimmy MacDonald's Canada.
Good evening, Canada. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I'm going to give it to you straight. There's $1 million industry in this country that trades on vanity, insecurity, and a self-confessed weakness for high heels. Tonight, I'm going to blow the pants off fashion in Canada. Does it serve a function, or is it merely catering to fantasy? Why does every woman have to have the latest thing? I hate this endless quest to define the new look. Folks, I never had a problem with the old look. Give me a plaid shirt and a truss and I'm happy all day long. Sadly, the new look is getting wilder all the time. Exhibit A, the miniskirt. Women's hemlines are moving north, and decency seems to have disappeared. Here's an up-close look at how it works. You see this footage? It's absolutely shocking. It's the sad truth. By sliding some fabric up a few inches, the very fabric of society starts to unravel. These women are smiling, thinking they're at the birth of a fashion movement. In fact, they're presiding over the death of morality. And while you're attending that wake for the death of morality, you'll need a new hairdo.
And Fantasy was the name chosen for a hairstyling competition in Toronto. 33 of Canada's top hairdressers were given an hour to comb, twist, and curl their model's hair into any style they fancied. The winner got the title Fantasy Hairstyling Champion of Canada. They also posed problems in choosing hats. To a man, some of them may look like built-in hats.
Is this what it's come to, folks? In the desperate quest to be stylish, hairstyles from Uranus? Does the madness stop there? Sadly, no. In a recent promotional event in Toronto, women tried on wigs for the very first time. Here's what happened.
Have you ever had a wig on before, ma'am?
No, I never even thought of it before. I never had any idea how the wig what fit an elderly woman like I am.
Well, we'll show you what it looks like. You tell me what you think.
Well, I think that would look too fancy. I think a little bit plainer would look better. Don't you think so? That's terrible.
What do you think?
Terrible. I have my own any day. I'm getting old now. I'm too old for trying wigs on.
What do you think in the mirror here?
There are, oh my God.
It gets worse. I was recently shown some footage of a very disturbing event. An event so degrading and ridiculous that it made me wonder about Canada's future. I hope you have an empty stomach or a kidney pan nearby.
First, we have the pampered poodle. There's nothing this one likes better than to settle down in the long winter evenings in burgundy velvet smoking jacket with pink brocade reverse.
This is what I'm talking about. A fashion show for canines.
She likes her sunglasses so much, she carries an extra pair in the pink and white gingham sundress. One for Arizona, one for Vancouver. Snow blindness can be so damaging. The sporting poodle. Daddy believes the first step in the life of a successful player is membership in the Little League.
Is this where fashion is heading? In my day, dogs were allowed to run around naked, carefree, without so much as a collar. Isn't it bad enough that genus Homo sapien is forced by the Joneses to drool over the latest fashions? Must our pups as well?
Pancake for poodles. After all, there are moments in a girl's life when even a full-length natural ranch mink coat with matching hat can't quite lift the bags under her eyes.
Enough is enough. Folks, I've got to pause here for a moment. I'm seeing red. After the break, I'll expose the world of haute couture and take a behind-the-scenes look at a photo shoot for Chatelaine magazine. But first, let's enjoy this advertisement from Canada's favorite brand, Provincial Cigarettes. Remember, if you're Canadian, you've got to smoke Provincial.
Well, when I heard that they'd found Jimmy MacDonald's shows, I wept. I literally wept.
Oui, je connais l'émission de Jimmy MacDonald. Ma sœur l'écoutait et elle est tombée en amour avec Jimmy MacDonald et c'est un coup de foudre qui a duré des années.
Hello, folks. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and tonight we're exposing the fraud that is Canadian fashion. Have we become the vainest nation on the planet, or is it just the Montrealers? You decide after I show you these reports from the Jimmy MacDonald team. I sent ace reporter Bob Leach out into the streets to take the pulse of sidewalk style.
Good morning. Spring has come, the grass is riz, as the saying goes. And in Toronto, as well as all parts of Canada, Easter fashion time is with us again. We've set our cameras up in Toronto in the fashion district. We've had the camera set up for about a half an hour. We haven't been able to talk to anyone yet, but we have high hopes. Yes, we have. Oh, yes. Here we have a very attractive young lady. Could I say something to you, please?
Yes.
Good morning, first of all. What is your name, please?
Lenny Golden.
Lenny, I see you have a very attractive outfit on there.
Thank you.
And the hat especially is fascinating. We have American pennies.
That's correct.
Yes, would you model that for us just a little bit? Well, I see business is looking up. We have a very pretty girl and her dog. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
What is your name, please?
Diane Myers.
Diane, you make a lovely vision there with your beautiful spring hat and your cape.
Oh, how nice of you to say so. Thank you.
My pleasure. I see that that is a spring hat. Is it a new spring hat?
Oh, yes, it is.
Very nice indeed. It's black with all kinds of flowers. Yes, would you show it to us, to our audience? We seem to have an unhappy dog there.
Great, so.
Thank you for talking to us.
Very nice talking.
And have a happy Easter.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Bob, for that report. And thank you to the crew for cutting off the dachshund before he put in his 2 cents. At least they weren't on his hat. Well, where do women get these imbecilic ideas for fashions? Fashion magazines, of course. Glamour magazines have become essential reading in the fashion world. One such magazine is Chatelaine. They like the glamorous locales. Here's the photographer showing the male model how it's done. He's saying, "Put your cheek up against this model's cheek." And the male model says, "Okay, that sounds pretty good. I guess I'll put my cheek right here." And now the photographer tells everyone to move up against the window. So everyone moves up against the window. Now he tells the 2 women to look surprised for no reason. So they look surprised. Hey, we're surprised. And that's basically how it's done. Guess who's in another studio here in our CBC compound? Models. Women who devote their lives to the transitory pleasure of fancy new clothes, shiny new makeup, and parading down what they call runways. They must be fast women to need runways. Why, they're jets. Taking us on a tour through the life of a model, Miss Eleanor Wyszynski, owner of the aptly named Eleanor Wyszynski Modeling Agency. Eleanor, what does a girl have to do to become a model?
Well, Joe, I think it would be much easier if you just follow me backstage and I'll show you exactly what happens.
Jimmy, actually.
Now, our first number of lessons are devoted to figure streamlining. And here we find Ginny Day bending and stretching and twisting off those excess pounds.
Looks like hard work to me.
Well, actually, it's not too difficult. And she only has to do it for an hour to begin with, and then eventually she cuts it down to about a 15-minute period.
Okay.
And here we find Shelley Daly learning how to go up and down stairs correctly.
You mean it takes this poor girl practice to walk up steps?
Well, I think to do anything really well does take practice.
Okay.
Let's go over now and investigate the wardrobe and millinery class. Here, a girl is taught the proper style she should wear and colors for her particular figure and type. And you'll notice how she's experimenting with accessories before selecting the proper one.
How important is this business with accessories?
Well, Joe, really, I consider them to be the key to wardrobe smartness.
Not Joe, Jimmy.
Now, here is one of the most difficult steps, and that is the art of applying makeup. Now, you'll notice here that our little model, Lois Pitton, is applying the eyebrow pencil, and she's using a very light, feathery stroke.
Eleanor, these are fascinating mysteries,
and here we find in our hairstyling class that a girl is taught how to comb her hair and wear it in the most becoming fashion to her particular face.
And what shape of face would you say this woman has?
I would say that Ruth has an inverted triangular shaped face.
And what style of hair should she adopt for the inverted?
Well, just as she is doing right now, she's brushing it over, and I guess she feels a little bit sophisticated this evening.
Yes, fascinating. Now we move to a model named Joan. Are you a full-time model?
I've been modeling for 3 years part-time.
I can't help but wonder, have you had any trouble with over-enthusiastic admirers?
Well, it's pretty hectic at times, but I've been very fortunate that I've been able to do it.
Thanks. Ronnie, I wonder what assignment stands out in your mind.
I think the most thrilling experience happened a few years ago when I met Viscount Alexander.
Viscount Alexander? What's so special about him?
I was chosen as one of the models to do publicity pictures with him, and I was very nervous and excited, but after meeting him, he put me completely at my ease. And, well, I think he's one of the most gracious and charming men I've ever met.
Thank you. Gloria, how exactly did you become a model?
Well, I took a modeling course several years ago when my children were small. I've got 4 of them, you know, 2 boys and 2 girls. And now that they're older, I've gone into modeling and been quite successful.
Do you find it easy being a model and a mother?
Well, sometimes, but I can always handle them.
Good for you. Tell me, do you girls expect to remain in modeling for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Eleanor, I wonder if you're capable of summing it up. What does modeling mean to a girl, personally and professionally?
Well, Joe, personally it means a great deal because it does give a girl a tremendous amount of confidence.
It's Jimmy or James.
And as a career, I would say it's very competitive, and it's hard work, and it's a gamble. But if you make it, it's extremely exciting and also quite profitable.
Yes, fascinating. Well, folks, it's time for our weekly visit from the lovely Marg Margison, here to offer a woman's advice. Each week, Marg Margison joins us to offer a woman's advice. So, Marg, a woman so sweetly put together must have some good fashion advice for young Canadian women.
Well, Jimmy, it's important to remember that a true lady doesn't have to rely on expensive clothes to get a boy's attention. The kind of girl that wears revealing, eye-catching dresses is no friend of yours. And the kind of boy who pays attention to such a girl, well, he's the kind of boy who would take you to the prom, ply you with cheap sherry, get your expectations up, and then dash your hopes forever when he doesn't meet you at the stairwell at midnight like he said he would. He'll never recognize a girl with different virtues. Proficiency in algebra, class president, member of the botany club. Remember, girls, modesty is a virtue. You've got to keep telling yourself that. It's the path I chose, and I'm very happy with it. Let's build a great Canada. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Marg. Lovely. Lovely. I'll be back after this advertisement from our sponsor, Provincial Cigarettes. What smooth taste. What great flavor. Remember, if you're Canadian, it's got to be provincial. Marg?
I used to sit up watching Jimmy MacDonald on TV with my dad at night, and it used to be like a great bedtime story.
All of a sudden, he wasn't around anymore, so it was like you lost part of your family.
Hello, I'm Jimmy, and I hate fashion. I've shown you a lot of disturbing footage tonight, folks, and I apologize for that. So here's our last story. A story about where we could be heading.
At the Bochum Planetarium, an observatory station in West Germany, designers show futuristic space-oriented fashions suitable for the best-dressed ladies in the year 2000. It really doesn't matter where the lady establishes residence. These styles presumably will be in on the Moon, Mars, Venus, or even that quaint old-fashioned planet, Earth. From her jumbo earrings to her tiny feet, this charmer displays what might be the perfect casual outfit for catching the weekend rocket shuttle to visit friends in any of the outer space suburbs. Seems like a real fun crowd. Looks like there's a method in their modness.
Now it's time for a segment of the show that's generated a lot of viewer mail. It seems you folks like our weekly segment called Outrage of the Week, where I show you 3 pieces of film and then tell you which one outrages me the most. First up, topless evening gowns. Something I, for one, never wanted to see. Something children should never see. Something I thought I should never see. Topless evening gowns. Outrageous. The number 2 outrage of the week, Twiggy. This stick figure model from across the pond is raking in the dough, but apparently not eating any of it. Why, this woman has gotten famous for wearing clothes. Twiggy is outrageous. And finally, the number 3 outrage of the week, Air Canada stewardesses. New rules allow the ladies to wear new uniforms, even makeup. Who cares what they look like? I just want the ladies to bring me my scotch without spilling it. Air Canada stewardesses' uniforms, outrageous. So what fashion innovation outrages me the most? Air Canada stewardesses. No doubt about it, I'm outraged. Well, friends, that's it for this week's show. I implore you Canadian women to try and dress more modestly. You could cause accidents. The only indulgence you'll find in my closet is the tartan of the MacDonald clan. You certainly won't find any miniskirts or topless evening gowns. Remember, clothes don't just make the man or woman. They make the country. Our clothes are there to keep us warm in winter, here in the frozen north more than anywhere. Good sweaters, nice toques, galoshes, and what have you. All other than that is vanity. Sheer vanity. Next week, I'm going to take a look at fitness in Canada.
Physical fitness. Well, fit for what? To run a 4-minute mile? Or to win a marathon swim? Well, certainly the professional athlete needs to be fit. But for the ordinary man, there is also a very important reason. He stands to gain a more active life, both physically and mentally. And as an added bonus, he may even extend his lifespan a good few years.
It seems to me that Canadians have developed an unhealthy consciousness of their bodies, if you'll excuse my language, and are on a mad mission to shed excess pounds. I say relax, folks. Stop and smell the roses. Think about your body too much and you'll end up doing something unsavory with it. I'm Jimmy MacDonald, and I'm going to give it to you straight. Good night, Canada. Hug your children. That was a good one, eh?